Hello, my dear children. Today we are going to discuss the 7th lesson, Glimpses of India, from your literature textbook. 3 different topics are there in this lesson. Through this video, we are going to discuss the first part, A Baker from Goa, written by Lucio Rodriguez. Let's know more about the writer Lucio Rodriguez. Lucio Rodriguez was a great Konkani essayist. He wrote several articles in English and Konkani to various periodicals and magazines. He served as a visiting professor of folklore at many universities and also as a professor of English in Mumbai and Goa. His essays were posthumously published under the title Of Soil and Soul and Konkani Folk Tales. You may know that apart from the British, the Dutch, the French and the Portuguese have also played a part in the history of our country. Can you say which parts of India show French and Portuguese influences? This particular lesson, A Baker from Goa, is a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker who still has an important place in his society. Let's read the first part of the lesson and then we can discuss the summary. Our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days, the Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Here the narrator starts by telling that he had often heard his elders reminiscing. Reminiscing means recalling, remembering nostalgically about good old Portuguese days, about the Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Here, eaters of loaves means the Portuguese people. So they have vanished, but the makers of bread are still there in Goa. So they still have amongst them the mixers, the molders, as well as those who bake the loaves. Those age-old, time-tested furnaces still exist. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. So those age-old, that means old furnaces. Furnace is the place wherein these cakes were baked. So that furnaces still exist in Goa. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. Here extinguish means end, eradicate, terminate, remove, eliminate, etc. The thud and jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning can still be heard in some places. During those days, the narrator could hear the thud and jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo, and he says that it announces his arrival in the morning. Here the thud and jingle refers to the sound produced by bamboo. When the baker hit it forcefully on the ground, a sound is produced. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as Pather in Goa. So father may not be alive, but the son carries on, continues his profession. So those bakers are now also called as Pathers. During our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion and guide. He used to come at least twice a day. So during the writer's childhood in Goa, the baker used to be their friend, companion as well as guide. And this baker used to go to his house at least twice a day. Once when he set out in the morning on his selling round, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. So 2 times he visited the house. Once in the morning when he started his selling round, and in the evening when he returned. The jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? Was it for the love of the loaf? Not at all. So here the narrator says that the sound produced by the bamboo stick that was carried by this baker made them woke up from sleep, and then they ran to meet and greet him. It was not because of the love of the loaf. The loaves were bought by some Paskin or Bastin, the maid servant of the house. What we longed for were those bread bangles which we chose carefully. Sometimes it was sweet bread of special make. So in his house, these loaves of bread were bought by his maid servants. What those children wished for were those bread bangles which were brought by these traditional bakers. Sometimes those bread will be of very sweet, that means they will prepare it as a special one. The baker made his musical entry on the scene with the chung chung sound of his specially made bamboo stuff. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. So the maker, whenever he comes, he will be producing that sound, chung chung sound, with his bamboo stick. So he will be supporting the basket on his head with one hand, and with the other hand he will hit that bamboo on the ground. Hit forcefully. Here bang means hit forcefully. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. So whenever he comes, he will greet that lady of the house, and then he will wish her, and then he will place that basket there. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke, and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. But we would not give up. We would climb a bench or the parapet and peep into the basket somehow. The children were not allowed to get those bread from those bakers, because they will be showing an expression of disapproval. Sometimes they will scold the children when they come towards the baker, and these breads would be delivered to the servant. But the children would never give up. They would sometimes climb on a bench or a parapet, and then they will peep into the basket. I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves for the elders and the bangles for the children. So still he could remember the typical fragrance, the smell of those loaves for elders, and the bangles were for children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths properly. And why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? And why was it necessary at all? So he says that they never bothered to brush their teeth or wash their mouth properly in order to eat those breads. Why should? He's asking why. Why they should take a risk, isn't it? Why should they pluck the mango leaves for the toothbrush? Why was it necessary? The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash everything so nicely after all. So now he is telling that even the tiger never brushed his teeth. Then why should they? And he says if they drink hot tea, it could wash and clean up everything so nicely. The lesson begins with how narrator's elders often recall the time when Goa was under the rule of the Portuguese. The importance of bakers is still maintained in their villages even after the Portuguese have left. The Portuguese are famous for preparing the loaves of bread. The mixers, the molders, and their time-tested furnaces continue to serve the people of Goa with their famous bread loaves. It is possible that the original ones may not exist, but their profession is being continued by their sons. They are known as bathers in Goa. The narrator is traveling through the memory lane, thinking about the loaves of bread a baker delivered every morning. The writer tells about the childhood days in Goa when the baker used to visit their house. He used to visit them twice a day. In the morning, his jingling sound of the bamboo woke them from sleep. They would go running to him without brushing or washing their mouth properly. It was the maid servant of the house who collected the loaves while children sorted out the bread bangles for themselves. Now the second part. Marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the bowl, just as a party or a feast loses its charm without bread. So in Goa, marriage gifts are meaningless without this sweet bread known as bowl. So whether it is a party or a feast, it will lose its charm without these breads. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. So here he says that he couldn't explain more to tell the importance of a baker in a village. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. So it's a rule that the lady of the house in Goa should prepare some sandwiches on the occasion of their daughter's engagement. Cakes and bulinghas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace in the village is absolutely essential. So this all shows how much important this baker's furnace in the village is. So even cakes and bulinghas, here bulinghas means go and coconut cookies. So these are must for Christmas as well as other festivals. So without baker's furnace, it is not possible. So that shows the importance of bakers in their village. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as the kabai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. Look at the picture here. So traditional baker. So they have a peculiar dress known as kabai. So this dress is known as kabai. It was a single piece long frock which reaches down to the knees. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full-length ones and longer than half pants. During the childhood of our writer Lucio Rodrigo, they saw bakers wearing a shirt as well as trousers which were shorter than full-length pants and longer than the half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a padar. So even today, that means while he was writing this essay, he says that anyone who wears a half pants like this which reaches just below the knees, they will comment that he is dressed like a padar. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. So, these bakers collected the money at the end of each month. Accounts were recorded on some wall with pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. The baker and his family never starved. He, his family and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. So during those days, in the olden days and all, baking was a profitable profession. The baker and his family never starved. His family and his servants looked happy and prosperous. Their plum physique was an open testimony to this. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. Their plum physique means pleasantly fat body. So these bakers are having fat body. So that was an open testimony. Open testimony means public statement about a character or quality, or you can also tell it as proof. So their fat body is a proof to that. Okay, to what? Proof to what? Proof to say that they never starved. They were very happy and prosperous. Even today means even those days, any person with a jackfruit like physical appearance is compared to a baker. Bakery products have importance in the culture and traditions of Goa. Bhol or sweet bread is a part of marriage gifts. Cakes and bolinghas or coconut cookies are eaten at every festival, and the lady of the house prepares sandwiches at her daughter's engagement. Earlier, bakers wore a unique frock of knee length known as kabai, but during the narrator's childhood days, they wore a shirt and trousers of length slightly shorter than the usual ones. These bakers generally collected their bills at the end of every month. Baking has continued to be a profitable profession, managing to keep their families as well as the servants happy and prosperous. The baker was usually fat, which was a proof that he had a lot to eat, and hence he was a proof of his richness. Even to this day, someone with a jackfruit-like appearance is compared to a baker. Dear children, through this lesson, you could learn that India is a country of various traditions and culture. This culture and tradition influence the society. Time surpasses, but culture and tradition exist with little variations. That's all regarding the lesson A Baker from Goa. In the next class, we will discuss Coorg and tea from Assam. Till then, goodbye.